You had one conversation, maybe two, a meeting, a lunch, a phone call that ran a little long, and now you are home, lying on the couch, staring at the ceiling, completely drained. You did not run a marathon. You did not lift anything heavy. You just talked to people. So why does your body feel like it did? Here is the strange part. It was not a bad day. Nobody was rude. Nothing went wrong. And yet something inside you is completely used up. Your brain is quiet in a way that feels almost painful. You want nothing. Not food, not TV, not conversation. Just stillness, just silence, just the ceiling. Most people call this being introverted, but that word barely scratches the surface of what is actually happening inside your nervous system. Your brain runs on glucose. Every thought you have, every word you choose, every facial expression you read, every social calculation you make costs real metabolic energy. And conversations are among the most expensive things your brain does. Neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman at UCLA spent over 2 decades studying the social brain and found that processing other people, reading their intentions, tracking their emotions, predicting what they will say next, is one of the most demanding cognitive tasks your brain ever performs. It does not feel like work, but it is. When you talk to someone, your prefrontal cortex fires constantly. You are monitoring tone. You are choosing words. You are managing how you come across. You are checking whether they seem bored or interested. You are editing thoughts before they leave your mouth. All of it happening in parallel. All of it drawing from the same finite pool of mental fuel. For some people, this process runs efficiently. The social loop feels natural, almost automatic. For others, the same loop demands conscious effort at every step. Not because something is wrong with them, because their brains are wired to process more deeply. Psychologist Elaine Aron introduced the concept of the highly sensitive person in the 1990s, and her research revealed something remarkable. Around 15 to 20% of the human population has a nervous system that processes sensory and social information at a significantly deeper level than average. More neural connections activated, more associations made, more emotional residue left behind after each interaction. That depth is a gift in many situations. You notice things others miss. You feel things others skim past. You form connections that go below the surface fast. But that same depth means a single conversation leaves more fingerprints on your brain than it does on someone else. You did not just hear what they said. You processed it. You felt it. You carried it. There is also something called cognitive load, and social situations stack it fast. Psychologist Roy Baumeister showed through decades of research that willpower, focus, and self-control all draw from the same resource. He called it ego depletion. Every time you manage your reactions, suppress an impulse, or hold back a response that you decided was better left unsaid, you spend a little of that reserve. By the end of a long day of conversations, that reserve is nearly empty. And here is something most people never consider: the social performance tax. Even when you genuinely like the people you are talking to, there is a layer of effort that goes into being present, being appropriate, being your best version of yourself. You smile a certain way. You laugh at the right moments. You keep your energy up even when it is starting to dip. That performance is not fake, but it is effortful, and effort has a cost. Your ancestors understood this, even if they had no name for it. Humans evolved in small bands of roughly 150 people. That was the maximum social load the ancient brain was designed to manage. What anthropologist Robin Dunbar famously identified as the upper limit of meaningful human relationship. Beyond that number, the social math becomes too complex. Your brain starts running a deficit. Modern life asks you to interact with hundreds of people, dozens of voices, a constant stream of messages and faces and micro-negotiations every single day. The brain doing all of that work is the same brain that evolved for campfires and small villages. It is not broken. It is simply running software designed for a quieter world on hardware being asked to process a much louder one. So tonight, when you need to lie down and do absolutely nothing, that is not laziness. That is maintenance. Your brain is filing what it processed. Your nervous system is returning to baseline. The stillness you are craving is not absence. It is recovery. You had one conversation, maybe two, and your brain works harder than you will ever fully see. The ceiling is not where you go when you have nothing left. It is where you go to fill back up. If this earned a few minutes of your attention, imagine what the next video might do. Subscribe and become part of a community.